And I'm going to go fire up this game.
Yep.
Yeah, Jim messed up. He didn't get that.
What?
That max stuff.
Oh.
You go that way. Welcome back, round 5 legacy action. We have Themos. Let me figure out how I can get his name to fit on here. Panel. I can't even remotely try to pronounce that. Jim, you want to give it a try?
Panatopoulos.
Panatopoulos, the Burn superhero, against Jeremy Locker on Sneak and Show, in what should be a very non-interactive matchup between two relatively fast decks.
Yep. Ships passing in the night. We should see a lot of non-interactive Magic. Sneak and Show is trying to be as fast as possible. Burn's just holding on for dear life and hoping that their cards are good enough. We'll see what happens here.
Who are you giving the edge to?
I mean, I think that you have to give the edge to the Sneak and Show player. They can do what they're trying to do as early as turn 1. Burn equivocally cannot do that. They need a critical mass of cards to do it. And yes, they are fast, but compared to Sneak and Show, it's like, you're talking about a normal sports car versus like a race car. Like, they're both fast, but one is significantly faster. We do see a slowed down start from the Sneak and Show player, though. Leading on a fetch land means that he might have kept one of the hands that is reliant on a card like Brainstorm or Ponder to kind of dig through the pieces and get the cards that he needs.
He does have the Ancient Tomb in his hand, which means if he just has Sneak and Show plus anything,
yeah,
the game's over.
If he has Show and Tell plus Emrakul, Show and Tell plus Grizzlebrand.
Show and Tell plus anything.
Yeah. Oh, Lava Spike to the face like God intended.
And here's the crack. As I said, we see the Ancient Tomb.
I think he has an Omniscience in his hand.
He is playing 2 Omniscience, so that could be, in fact, a thing. I think his win cons are going to be the 4 Grizzlebrands, 3 Emrakuls, 4 Show and Tells, 4 Sneak Attacks. This is kind of the opposite of what we saw from the Crystallia blue-white deck. This has the extra ways to cheat things into play.
So it's just going to be a Preordain into Ancient Tomb and pass. So we're still trying to assemble the pieces here. And it looks like our Burn player is on 1 land. Ooh, second Ancient Tomb. So free card for the Sneak and Show player. Let's see what he can do with it. I do see an Emrakul in his hand. Do we have the Show and Tell? Another Preordain. What do we do?
I mean, he has enough mana. He doesn't really want to tap those Ancient Tombs too many times, though.
Nope. That is speeding up the clock of the Burn player pretty significantly.
In addition to the hypothetical land price of progress, things aren't looking super good for Jeremy Locker, but he's still heavily favored in the matchup, especially if Themos continues to not have another land drop.
Here's the light up the stage. A new inclusion into the deck from one of the newer sets. Light up the stage is the red draw spell for the format. So this could be good. If he hits a couple of lands or land and a burn spell, like that could be an insane amount of value for the red deck. But it does look like it got spell pierced, so that's good for our Sneak and Show pilot.
And that really is the strength of Sneak and Show, in that they have all the counter magic plus the fast combo win. He still had a land, though.
I mean, it just looks like Jeremy has nothing going on in terms of a threat, a board state, a presence on the field. So he's going to be down to 8 here. Realistically, that's two burn spells and he's dead. So even less if he's going to have to tap this Ancient Tomb to get it done. That was another Emrakul.
I mean, it would be very interesting if...
Does he have the sneak attack?
This could just be the Emrakul.
That's
Emrakul go.
Gonna be a thing. Emrakul. Nice board. Emrakul is gonna shuffle back, but missed that trigger.
What happened?
No, Emrakul went to the graveyard, and that's not a place that Emrakul belongs.
Well, you shuffle in
Everything.
Emrakul in the graveyard, yeah.
Yeah.
So he didn't go to the... He's supposed to go to the graveyard.
Yeah, he got put in the graveyard and then did get shuffled, was what I was saying. So, but let's see.
He has the mountain.
I mean, Jeremy's at 9. I don't think there's a sequence of
Jeremy's
cards.
at 6.
Oh, Jeremy's at 6.
I mean, there isn't really a sequence of cards at 6. It does... Jeremy have
Triple gut shot.
one creature in his hand, which we see the creature. There they are.
Oh. Wolf.
Even the BM double creature. So we are headed to game number 2. With Jeremy up 1-0 on Themos Pantolopoulos. That's not even close.
Panotopoulos.
Panotopoulos. There we go. That sounds better.
But that's what you thought you were going to see out of that match.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically speaking, the burn player, it has game if it goes quick and he stumbles, which he did. He stumbled all the way until the end. But the thing was that, like, in the end, Emrakul just came down and just was like, you don't get to play Magic anymore. So, what are you going to do?
Well, and that's the biggest problem with...
What do we got out of the sideboard?
I don't think there's a whole lot that he has. I mean, landing like a quick pyrostatic pillar would be nice. Other than that, you're still really just counting on the sneak and show player stumbling. Less so more things you can do, more so the sneak and show player having a bad hand.
Yeah, which is really a thing. I mean, it's a deck that can have those turns where it's just like setting up and just spinning its wheels and doesn't get to do anything, and you just kill them in the meantime. But realistically speaking, this should be an aggressive mulligan from Jeremy into just keeping the cards that matter, you know? Yeah, he does have Leyline of Sanctity, which would stop the burn spells, so...
Completely. Like, even worse, he does have Leyline of Sanctity in the board, and Pyroclasms, which kill all the creatures. Not that I think I would board anything. I would stay exactly as non-boarded as he started.
I mean, I think that you put the ley lines in. I think the ley lines are good enough.
I don't think they are. I mean, I think that's just where you set yourself up, where you mulligan to a ley line, you get a ley line, your first draw is a ley line, and they're beating you to death with creatures. I think just staying as fast and as pure as possible is going to be the best chance that he has to win.
Really?
So,
It's a fairly not fast hand for Jeremy.
he has double Force of Will, triple blue card, shipping it back instantaneously. That's exactly what I would have done.
I mean, you just need forcing things and letting the game progress doesn't do anything for Jeremy. There isn't a big spell he needs to force. There isn't a big payoff card that Themos wants to play. It's just going to be a flurry of tiny spells and little creatures
Well, that's exactly my point. I think the Force of Wills are the cards that you shave for the ley lines because they don't really do anything. Six cards for the Sneak and Show player. What do we got? Brainstorm, City Traders, Sneak Attack, Lotus Petal, Island and Polluted Delta. So we have a Sneak Attack, and it's a pretty quick one. Bottom of the card. Game's underway.
Hopefully Themos has a little better luck with lands. As he definitely could have probably stole game one if he drew a second land a little more appropriately.
Do we have a recurring damage use? Nope.
Nope.
Lava Spike.
The recurring damage source is also super important.
I think that was a Spell Pierce picked up for Jeremy. Let's see what it does. But I think that we're getting Eidolon of the Great Revel here on 2. Okay,
That is a real magic card in this instance.
that's a recurring damage source that we are looking at. Let's see what we got.
That's actually the double because it's a recurring damage source and it's going to be additional damage for every cantrip.
Yep. Eidolon resolves.
That card's going to close the gap real fast. Because Jeremy has to shock himself every time he wants to cantrip.
Yeah, I don't think that Jeremy's hand is that good anymore into the face of this, because, I mean, he goes to 15 here. Next turn he can land a Sneak Attack, but I don't know how good it's going to be.
I mean, it's still, he lands a Sneak Attack with an Emrakul in his hand, the game's over. There's not a whole lot that's going to happen.
I just don't think that he has the actual payoff. Looking at the configuration of his hand, I think it's just lands, Lotus Petals, and a Sneak Attack. I don't think he actually has a...
Well, we know he doesn't have it, but he just has to draw it.
Yep. And anyone's good here. I mean, Emrakul being the best of them, but a Griselbrand ain't too shabby off the top. Let's see what we got. And the good thing is he does have a City of Traders, so he doesn't have to take damage from an Ancient Tomb in order to get that. He will have to take damage for the Lotus Petal if he's going to crack this turn, but it looks like he did not find the threat. That's huge for the burn
He has
player.
a lot of mana in his hand.
Get Lightning Bolted. We're at 8.
So this game could be effectively over right now.
Yes.
8 might just be too much. Or too low.
I mean, he's at 8 at the end of his turn, too. So we have an untap and a draw from the burn player. He's going to be at 6 from the crack from the Eidolon. And I know that the burn player has a Fire Blast in their hand, so let's see what other spells.
How do you know? You don't know.
I know, I see it.
There's a Barb Ring.
He does have a Barb
That's pretty
Ring.
insulting. He just learned he had a Barb Ring.
We're learning what the card does today. Oh no, he's got lethal. He can sack the 2 mountains for the Fire Blast, play the Barb Ring, and sack it, and then he's dead. Yep, Barb Ring. I think that's an exquisite Firecraft.
Well, they say you cast the Firecraft. You don't cast the... you don't cast the Fire Blast until he does something like this. Because now he goes to 4 and you kill him.
Yep.
Going to 3?
It is a surprising result to see Burn hold its own.
But it was more so Sneak and Show did not hold their own. Sneak and Show did basically nothing that entire game.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to mulligan to 5, like as the Sneak and Show player. I think that the Sneak and Show line is probably one of the worst. Like, the Sneak attack line is probably one of the worst in this matchup, where a card like Show and Tell just ends the game.
I mean, a card like Sneak Attack also ends the game. When you draw, he had, 4 lands in play, 3 lands in his hands, and a Lotus Petal?
Yeah.
He wasn't meant to win that game. And there's still absolutely nothing that Themos can do if Jeremy draws real cards. But we've all played those games where you don't actually play real Magic.
Yep.
You try to play real Magic. You're thinking about playing real Magic, but you're not. Looks like they're ready, shuffling up for game 3. This is game 3. Burn versus Sneak and Show of the AZ Eternal Magic Phoenix City Championship. Here at Snapcasters Games and Espresso, there is
the Leyline of Sanctity.
The Leyline of Sanctity. I mean, we see the Leyline's going to be real good.
That's a Show and Tell on top for our Sneak and Show player. This one might be a quick one, folks.
We finally see the Show and Tell. Will we see said fatty Mountain attack you? I mean, this is another game where Mountain attack you, Mountain Elodian is still a really fast clock. Or Eidolon.
Oh,
there's the Griselbrand.
Well, thank you, Themos, for coming out. It's been real, man.
So he has Ancient Tomb, he has Lotus Petal, he has Griselbrand in play.
Yep.
Show and Tell. I guess the Searing Vortex would be real good right now.
It has been nice playing with you today, sir. I'm going to do this giant thing.
Yeah, 7/7 lifelink is pretty hard for a burn deck to deal with. I mean, he could burn Fire Blast the Griselbrand. Fire Blast the Griselbrand, attack for 4.
He's played another Goblin Guide.
And killing the Griselbrand could be a real thing here. And Price of Progress doesn't target. So Themos isn't necessarily out of this game yet. I mean, I would see Jeremy draw 7 cards, hopefully finding the Force of Will. But Themos is doing 6, 7. He knows the coast is clear. But he has to bolt Fire Blast the Griselbrand. And we're going for it. And we're Spell Piercing?
That one's weird to me.
And we're Spell Piercing?
So we let it resolve? Okay. Chain Lightning it. Yep.
Fire Blast it. Do you draw 7 cards if you're
absolutely
going for the Force of Will?
Force of Will or Spell Pierce here.
Or none of them. Jeremy in trouble.
Do you go to 1? No, because the Force of Will doesn't do it.
Game's over.
What did we just watch?
Game's over. He went to 1. He can't force for free. He can't spell pierce because there's an Elodian in play.
The Spell Pierce killed him.
That spell pierce killed him. Or drawing 14 killed him. He can't tap his Ancient Tomb, and he can't play any spells.
We got a reader.
Jeremy Locker painted into a corner.
By himself.
Looking in his hand, trying to see if anything's castable.
Wow.
The Burn superhero. Has Goliath the David? Has David is the Goliath? Burn has taken down the Sneak and Show.
Was not expecting that result, folks.
Well,
Not even a little bit.
okay, team. Let's see if we can find a game 3 or another round. Give me 1 second. Let's see if our backup feature match is ready.